Yeah, is it visible now? Okay, great. Let's start. So today we will study about arrow functions. Okay, first of all. So what are arrow functions? Basically, I taught you that day also arrow functions. So what are arrow functions? Arrow functions are ES6 plus features. Now what is ES6 plus? ES6 plus is the new version of JavaScript. ES6 features. So basically we will study about React. So we'll study about React, okay, and herein we first need to understand what are arrow functions. Okay, before moving further, could you please tell me everyone that you have understood functions properly? What are functions? How is it created? How is it called? Please, I need consent to move further. Okay, so if everyone has understood, let's move further. See, again I'm explaining. A typical function looks like this. How do we create an addition function? We give a function name, okay, we pass parameters. For example, if I want an add function, okay, inside the curly braces we write the actual logic. Okay, whenever we call this function, okay, what will happen? It will return us something. Okay, what will it return? It will return us the uh, sum of the numbers which we passed as parameter. Okay, okay. So as we saw here, what we did is we gave the function name. Okay, inside that we added two parameters. Okay, and after that inside the curly braces we actually wrote the logic which the function needs to perform. Okay, so we returned the actual logic only, that we needed to add the two parameters. We returned the two parameters sum. Okay, and next in the ninth line we actually printed the two parameters, okay, which we passed. Okay, the sum of the two parameters which we passed. Now the new way of doing this using ES6 arrow function is const new add equals, again here we will pass two parameters. Okay, and in the arrow function we will pass the actual logic and we will return x plus y. What has changed here? Simply this has changed here. The syntax basically has changed. Okay, nothing else. And if we actually call the thing, we will get the same answer here. Okay, 5. Nothing new here. Okay, so what is the basic difference here is arrow functions. If we use some real life examples, okay, think of arrow functions like the express lane at a grocery store. Okay, they are faster, more streamlined way to do the same thing as regular function. Okay, means they are more optimized than the regular functions. Okay, so this is the regular lane. Okay, understand the highway example. There are two ways. Okay, one is the expressway also. Okay, so you can understand this new arrow function as the expressway. Okay, and this is the normal highway which we use. Okay, so basically differences between regular function and arrow function is that it has shorter syntax. Okay, less typing and cleaner code. This was first difference. Okay, Next is, like we saw in the normal function, that we use the this, okay, this keyword, okay, in order to access some property. Like if we needed to access this property, okay, inside the arrow function, we needed to refer this dot some property, okay, this dot x equals to 10, okay. But inside the arrow function, what we can do is we can directly access any property, okay. So this is the major difference, okay. Next we will understand what is destructuring, okay. Destructuring. Destructuring. So imagine a live example, real life example is, imagine you are unpacking a suitcase after a trip, okay. So instead of just rummaging things through everything to find your shirt, means everything you are doing here and there, okay, and finding your shirt, you can directly pull out what you need, okay, if it is properly arranged, okay. So this is what destructuring is. Destructuring basically means what? You are unpacking the suitcase properly, okay, and you are getting what you want, okay. So through the JavaScript example, we can understand it like const suitcase equals an object in which shirts are 5, okay, pants are 3, shoes are 2, okay. Now if we want shirts, what we can do, destructure, okay, suitcase dot shirts. I want all the shirts, I simply access the shirts, okay. This is destructuring, okay. I want the sorry, now what is happening here is I am getting all the shirts here, okay, all the 5 shirts, okay. Now what I am doing here is again I am pulling out the pants, okay, sorry, const pants equals suitcase dot pants. Now I'm getting all the 3 pants, okay. Const shoes equals 2 shoes, I'm getting all the shoes here, okay. Now what is destructuring? Basically const shirts and pants equals suitcase, okay. This is destructuring, okay. Shirts destructuring, okay. So as we can see here, we got the same thing here also, but it was less code, okay. We needed to write less code and it was cleaner, okay. Now if we wanted here to access the shirts also, pants also, shoes also, then we needed different variables, okay, different containers to store. But if we use destructuring, we can directly access the shirts and the pants, okay. It's as simple as that. Now definitely we need to actually pass the proper name to access it here, shirt pants, okay, great. So this is how we can destructure a property, okay. Why it matters? Because see, currently we won't get an idea properly of what where will destructuring be used, okay. But the thing is, when there will be a lot of data, okay, when the object will contain a lot of data, then destructuring would matter, okay. And we will see an actual example, okay. Let's say we have a JSON data, okay, or object data, okay, like const user profile equals to name John Doe, age 30, email something John Doe @address this, okay. What we are missing, okay. And we have more informations like followers 1000, following this, posts this 200. So assume this is one user's data, okay. If we are calling an API, okay, and imagine we are calling the Facebook API, okay, or the Instagram API for our following list. Okay, imagine we have 2000 followers. Okay, now assume that all the 2000 data of each user, okay, all these data of 2000 users, we will get the access. Okay, now it will be so difficult to access particularly all the names and followers, and let's keep one more field, verified true. Okay, so we need to actually do a lot of work to access all this data, but through destructuring what we can do is we can directly access the name, followers and address. Okay, or let's say verified status, verified equals to user profile. Now if we see here in user profile, if we target our user profile, we are getting all the data from our user profile. Okay, this object. Okay, now if we see here, we have access to all the data here. See, we have address, age, email, following, post, whatever data we want, we can directly access it from here. Okay, we will get suggestions also, that what data do we have. Now to get the suggestions, we will simply press Ctrl plus space bar. Okay, in order to get the suggestions. Okay, we'll get all the suggestions here, that whatever data is contained inside this user profile, we will get it inside it. Okay, and simply if we want, we can show it inside our component. Okay, so this is all about our destructuring. Okay, can log it also, most probably John Doe 1000 true. Okay, now we have a spread operator. What happens in spread operators is like a photocopier. Okay, it creates a copy of the original without modifying it. Okay, now assume I will show it through an example. Original recipe equals to, we have an array of flour, sorry, eggs, milk and sugar. Okay, great. Now what we want to actually segregate the vegan recipe. Okay, so what we will do, we need to add more items. Okay, basically inside the array by creating a copy of this array. Okay, so how will we create a copy of this array? New recipe or a vegan recipe. Okay, is inside this. See, we can use spread operator. Now what is the syntax of the spread operator and what is its use? See, spread operator basically is used for copying the data from another data set. Okay, like we have all the data in our original recipe which we want to copy in this vegan recipe. Okay, how do we do that? The syntax basically is, focus on the syntax, it's triple dot. Okay, and we can copy the original recipe. Okay, so now we have access to the vegan recipe also, the original recipe inside the vegan recipe. Okay, you see here, see, we have created a successful copy of original recipe inside the vegan recipe. Now what we want to add more items here. Okay, so instead of simply writing all these items again here, copying and pasting here, what we did is simply we copied this array only inside the new array. Okay, and we can add more items here, like plant milk and what flax eggs. Okay, so now see, inside our vegan recipe we have the all 4 items which we contain inside our original recipe. Additionally, we have more 2 items which are plant milk and flax eggs. Okay, so this is the thing, this is spread operator. Spread operator is basically used for mutating data. Okay, okay, or let's say combining data. Okay, let me write it for you. Combining data, merge arrays and objects easily. Now a real world example would be, the best example would be your shopping cart. Okay, assume you have a shopping cart. Okay, inside that you have id 1, name apple, price 1. Okay, id 2, banana. Okay, these are the items in your cart. Okay, now in order to add new items in your cart, instead of simply telling JavaScript to copy all these items and then again paste it and write it in new array, what we will do, we'll simply use the spread operator. Okay, how will we use it? See, we'll first create a function const add to cart equals, we will pass parameters current cart. Okay, and then we will add new item to it. Okay, so how are we gonna do that? Current cart and new item, actually pass shopping cart. Okay, and we'll pass new item inside it, new item. Okay, inside that we will return the shopping cart plus the new item. Okay, so when we call this function add to cart, okay, our actual this name our actual array name is, let's rename the parameter to current cart. Okay, for better understanding, current cart. Okay, add a new item. Okay, so what we will do here is we will pass our existing cart name, which is our shopping cart. Okay, and after that we will pass the new data which we need to add inside the shopping cart. Okay, so after that if we call this function add to cart, actually we have called this already, I'm not calling it again. Now if we log our shopping cart, we have 3 items here. Okay, const new cart equals to console.log new cart. We have now 4 items here. Okay, inside the new array. Okay, allow me a moment please. Okay, so this is our new cart. Okay, the updated cart. Okay, another example we can see is updating a object. Am I audible? Okay, const user equals an object name Jane, age 25. Okay, now if I want to update this object, how do we do that? We first create a new object, updated user. Inside that, whatever data we want to pass, first we need to copy and paste the existing data. So in order to do that, we will use the spread operator. Okay, now if we use the spread operator, we got access to the existing data. Okay, console.log updated user. See, we got the existing data here. Okay, inside the updated user. Now if we want to add more data here, like age is already there, city New York, age 26, age is already there, so we don't need to add the age. Okay, so see, we can add more data here. Okay, inside our new object using spread operator. Okay, we have our existing data also, and we need to, if we need to add more data, we can pass more data. Okay, now this will also be useful in when we will work with React, and we will actually implement it in a real life application. Okay, you might be thinking, you all might be thinking that what's the use of it. We can directly add the data inside this existing object only, or existing array only, but we will use it. Okay, we will have some use cases, okay, which is currently not explainable, but there are at sometimes use cases where we need to use it. Okay, now we need to understand functions and scopes. Okay, again functions and scopes, so we'll dive into some more functions and scopes. So see, first we'll understand what are high order functions. High order functions that take other functions as argument or return functions. Okay, now you can understand a high order function like a food processor, okay, with different attachments. Okay, main machine is the high order function which can accept different type of blades, okay, or different type of functions to perform different tasks. Okay, now let's understand it using JavaScript. Const process food equals, we are creating a simple function. Okay, inside this we are passing two parameters, food and method. Okay, console.log processing food. Okay, processing. Now if you see here, I need to pass a dynamic data here. What is the dynamic data? Can anyone tell me what is dynamic data here, which will change, which won't be static? What? Yeah, but in this function, what is the dynamic data? So the dynamic data is our parameters. Okay, these parameters will change. Okay, whenever we call this function, let me explain you what I'm telling. Okay, then we will get a better understanding. Okay, and the function will return method and food. Okay, now next, see, okay, these are individual functions. Okay, arrow functions. Okay, nothing else. We basically don't need always a curly braces. Okay, like I showed you here, these are the curly braces inside which we write the logic. But in ES6, if we use arrow functions, we don't need a curly brace generally. Directly we can write the logic. JavaScript will understand that, yeah, this is the logic. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are creating another function. For now, forget this function. Okay, this is the parent function. Okay, understand this thing. Okay, this is the parent function and these are the children functions. Okay, So now what is happening here inside the children function, focus on each particular children function. What we are passing here, we are passing food as a parameter. Okay, means you can understand it as a food processor. Okay, like or a mixer grinder. Okay, what does it basically do? We actually give input as food. Okay, and it chops the or grinds the food. Okay, so what is the use of a knife? Okay, knife we can use, what we do, we give input as food and then we use the knife to chop it. Okay, so you can understand this parameter as the food or the input. Okay, so what we are giving here, input as the food. Okay, and what is giving us as output, it's giving us output as chopped food. Okay, same for the cook also. Okay, we put some input of food. Okay, and then it gives us cooked food. Okay, same for the slice also. Okay, so when we insert the food here or give it input, it gives us output. Okay, so these are the basic children functions. Okay, now what is high order function? Let me show you. Process food, as I told you, this is the high order function or the parent function. Okay, now what we will pass here, see, we'll pass food. Okay, and we'll return the method. So see, now what is happening here is we'll pass the food as carrots. Okay, and we will chop it. Okay, so basically a food processor is a multitasking machine. Okay, which can do anything. Okay, like chop, blend and stuffs. Okay, so what we are passing here, we are passing food as carrot. It's taking food as parameter. Okay, first parameter is food and another parameter is method. Okay, means what exactly we need to make the food processor do. Okay, or the inner function. Okay, so basically you can understand this high order function as function that takes other function as argument or return functions. Okay, so now this method we can understand is it's taking another function as argument. Okay, or as parameter. Okay, and it's returning functions. Okay, what is it doing here? It's basically returning the output of the inner function. Okay, which it took as argument. Okay, so see, let me explain you the flow. What will happen here if we call the process foods? Okay, and we pass the first parameter as food, which is carrots we are passing. We want to chop the carrot. Okay, so what will happen, first of all we pass the food carrots, then we pass the method as chop. So what will this high order function do? It will call the first of all it will print this statement. Okay, simply, and then it will call this method. Which method did we pass? We passed the chop method, so it will call the inner function, that is the chop function. Okay, and it will return the output, whatever the function inner function is returning. Okay, so see, it's first showing here processing carrots. Okay, and then if we basically make it a console.log chopped food, see what happened here. First it called the it printed the console.log, means the processing food, simply is a print statement. Okay, then it called the method which we passed. Okay, along with the parameter as food. Okay, where is the food coming from this high order functions parameter. Okay, so this is making our work simple. Okay, I guess it's lot of confusion there, right? In this one, everyone understood? Hello, yes, no, maybe. Okay, so what are high order functions? High order functions, you can understand it like okay, we have a whiteboard here, I guess. Okay, leave it. High order function, basically you all can understand it like a container. Okay, like a container. Okay, which is itself a function. Okay, now this container will basically take some input. Okay, this container will basically take some input. Okay, it will process the operation which is written inside the curly braces, operation using input. Okay, and then it will again give us output. Okay, so this is a normal general functions working. Okay, how does a function work? Okay, so this is the flow of function. A function basically takes input, processes the operation which we wrote inside the function, okay, and then gives us output in return. Okay, like function add, this is the input. Okay, so in input we are passing two numbers 2 3, and then we will actually write the operation here. Okay, whatever operation we need to perform. So now we can directly either uh, return or output the operation, okay, after it's operated, else we can store the operated data or the output inside a variable x plus y, and then return the variable simply. Okay, but for a much cleaner approach, what we do is we directly return the operation itself. Okay, so such that it looks cleaner. Okay, so this is the general working of a function. Okay, so what was here? This was the input, this was the input, this was the operation, and this was the output. Okay, so now what is a high order function? High order functions are basically function inside function. Okay, like we saw here, we actually input something, we write the operation logic, and we return the output. Okay, so here what is happening, this is also doing the same thing, but what is happening here, it's taking input as normal parameters also, which we can pass, like this 2 and 3, okay, or x and y, and also we can pass another function here. Okay, like like C, and example of calculating average, average using a higher order function. So in average, what do we need first is we need the sum of all numbers. Okay, so const sum of numbers equals to numbers. Okay, now we'll use the reduce function, or if you want it simple, simple explanation, what we'll do, we will actually take three numbers. Okay, and we will pass the sum x plus y plus z. Okay, great. Now in order to calculate average, what we need to do is we need to basically pass the sum of numbers. Okay, and we will return sum of numbers by 3. Okay, so what we did here is first we created a function to add all the three numbers. Okay, basically we are creating a function to add three numbers. Okay, so we are passing parameter here as xyz. Okay, now when we call this sum of numbers, we get the sum. Okay, after that we pass the sum of numbers to this average function. Okay, so whatever is the sum of numbers here, it will be passed here, and then it will be divided by 3 and we'll get the average of those three functions. Okay, so is the high order function clear now somewhat? Okay, so high order function means nothing. High order function is a function which takes parameter as another function, okay, and returns the function itself, okay, or the value of the inner function. Okay, now let's see a real world example. See, we will create a notification sender. Okay, const create notification sender equals platform. Everyone knows what is a platform in terms of notification sender. If you don't know, platforms mean simply those platforms like Android, iOS and stuff. But here in case of our notification sender, platform means email, SMS, okay, push notifications. Push notifications simply means the notifications which you get from different applications on your Android app in the notification section, okay, like Instagram, Facebook, Zomato, Swiggy and all. So what we are creating here, a notification sender, and we will actually pass the platform, okay, whatever platform do we need in which we need to send the notification, okay, like email, SMS or push notification. Okay, after taking the platform, we will call another function here. Okay, so see, we are writing the operation logic of a function directly inside the return statement. Okay, we are creating another function inside, okay, which we are returning here. Return recipient. Everyone knows what is a recipient? The receiver. Okay, the receiver of the notification or something is called a recipient. Okay, so we will log here console.log sending via platform. Okay, after that we'll console.log message and also the recipient. Okay, so what we are taking here, basically we are taking here the platform. Okay, so now what will be the platform actually? Const send email equals create notification sender email. Okay, we are passing here email as platform. Okay, here we are passing here SMS as platform. Okay, and at last send push, we are passing here platform as push notification. Okay, now the usage. Okay, usage is send email. Okay, and in the send email, what we will send here is the message. Okay, as a parameter, meeting reminder. Okay, and next parameter we need the recipient. Okay, we need the recipient here. So if we are using the email, we basically need an email itself. Okay, John email @me.com. Okay, Similarly other things also. So now if we actually see, each function is being called, okay. So what is the high order function here? High order function is this one, okay, wrapped inside a child function, okay. So basically what we are doing here, we are calling the high order function create notifications, and actually we are, yeah, we are, sorry for the confusion. Actually the high order function here is this one, okay. Here we are passing the platform, okay, like send email, okay, and then we are passing the message and recipient here, okay. So after taking the message and recipient, it's console logging the entire thing, the platform, the message and the recipient, okay. So these are a kind of nested functions, okay. These are called high order functions. Next is closures. Now what is a closure? A closure is like having a personal vault, okay, that you can only access even after you leave the bank, okay. You still have the key to your vault, okay. So let's actually understand closures tomorrow, okay. I'm giving you a assignment, okay, uh, graphical assignment. Complete that, okay, and send the screenshot. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me tomorrow, okay. So thank you everyone. Let's end the session for today.